You know, many years ago, I was a young shield maiden, and I thought that shield maidens never had to know anything about how to do any of the, the domestic thingies. Well, Magda taught me very well that when you're on a boat for a very, 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 very long time, you need something to do. So she taught me how to do the nalbinding, among other things, because, let's face it, I do not cook. So, nalbinding. Many of you have said, oh, well, I don't know if I can afford to do the nalbinding because I don't have all the tools. Well, this is the easy part. I have tools laid out in front of me, and unfortunately I have also a different viewpoint because Odin has two eyes in our little universe here right now. So, what I have laid out, I have the nice wood nalbinding nawl. These are what they called nalls. This one, I do not remember what the wood is, but this one is hickory because the hickory was made from the axe handle. And then this one is the bone nawl. This one is a horn. This one is a metal nawl, which is a little bit more in your time frame. And this one is a plastic nawl. That is not going to be invented for many years in my time. This is a hair clippy. It is used for keeping your stuff all nice and neat while you have it put aside. So that is your tools. You can use anything as long as it is a blunt tip and has an eye and can hold on to yarn. So now we are going to start on how to start a bit of nalbinding. This is just the way I do it. This is not the only way that you can do it. This is just the way I do it. Many other people have other ways of doing this. So, the first thing we do is we tie a little knot. See, it's a pretty little knot with a short tail. It is also called a halo. So then you take the halo and you put it between your thumb and your finger. Now, very, very, very important to know. There's this little space in between your thumb and your finger, and that is a little hole. That is where your needle should be going. So now you take your nawl, and you put it in from the back. This is the only time you're going from the back on this stitch. This is the Oslo stitch, by the way. So we are going in from the back, pushing through the hole between the thumb and the finger, and we pull through. So now what you have the short tail, you have the halo, and you have a nice little loop around your thumb. One of the nice things about nalbinding, it doesn't matter what size of nawl you use. All that matters is what size thumb you use. So, next step, we are going to take the nawl and we are going to put it from the front through the halo. You twist and then you go underneath the two strands that are sitting on your thumb, put the finger back on, and pull through the hole between your thumb and your finger. Again, this is important. And this is making your chain stitch. Now you notice I got the bubbles. It looks really like a mess on the back of my thumb. But we just keep going. You pull the top loop. You can always tell which the top loop is because if you tighten up on your yarn, the bottom loop tightens. We go from the front. We twist. We go under these two little thingies here. Pull through the same hole. And we keep doing this over and over and over again to however long you want it to be. Over and over and over. Now you notice, again, it kind of looks ugly. You take your string and you pull and you just kind of tighten it. And then it looks really nice back there. Now I have one that is ready. I'm making myself the brim of a hat. So as you can see, I have a nice long strand of the chain stitch. Now it is very important when you are starting up your next row is that you want this to be flat. So you flatten it out. As you can see, I've got a very large head, so I need a very long chain. So I have it all flat, and notice the little clippy to hold it all in place. I slide my thumb underneath the clippy, undo the clippy, put the clippy aside, grab my nawl. So to start off to do your next row. So we've got it all nice and straight. And straight, which is not helping here. There we go, yes. So you straighten it, loop it around, take the top loop, pull it off your thumb, take your null, take the top loop from this chain, go through the top loop, go underneath the 2 strands, pull through the hole between your thumb and your finger, and tighten. To do the next stitch, pull the loop, go underneath the next top loop of the next stitch. Easier said than done when you do not have good eyesight. And then go through. And you just keep going through over and over again. There's a lot of repetition in nalbinding, but it is a good thing to do when you're sitting on the boat with nothing else to do, or when you're in the longhouse during the middle of winter with nothing else to do and you want to make mittens, or you want to make hand warmers, or you want to make a hat. So let's say that you have to put this aside. You take your little clippy and you slide it up here underneath your loops. You take your needle and your null and your yarn, and you clip it down. And therefore, you won't have to worry about it falling apart. Now, I have here, some might want to wonder how to make something like, say, a wrist warmer. Wrist warmer. Wrist warmer. So to make the hole, I will show you how to do that because I have one ready right here. Again, slide through your thumb underneath the clippy, take the clippy off, take your null. So, I want to make a hole right here. What do? I just make a chain stitch. So I do the 1, we will edit this part out. Two, oops. Come in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then tug on it to get all the bumps out of the back. And then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you are going to go through the 7th stitch. And you have reattached, and you now have a hole. And then you just keep going on until you end. One of the good things about nalbinding is that if you happen to drop your stitches, it won't pull everything out, because you are basically sewing knots as you are doing your nalbinding. So that means if you pull on it at the end, it just turns into a knot. The disadvantage of this is if you make a mistake, you have to unsew all of your stuff. Now they do say that one of the reasons that they came up with the nalbinding was probably because when you made your yarn, you spun your yarn by hand, you dyed your yarn by hand, and then you had to set up a loom, and you put everything onto the loom, and you had all these bits and pieces and ends left over the place, like, you know, this size here. And so what you would have to do is something to do with that yarn, because you did not throw that out, you did not throw that away. You used it because it took you so long to do it. Don't ever make me do spinning. I'm not very good at it. So I have the utmost respect for the women who do make the yarn, because I cannot do it. So the types of yarn you want to use, most likely wool, because it's easier to felt the ends together. You probably want to use about a, as I call it, the 3 wingspan. So you pull your arms apart like this. That is about how long you want 3 of those. Anything longer, you have a tendency to unravel it and you have to pull through all the yarn each and every stitch. So that is the nalbinding, and you can make lovely things like a hand warmer or gloves or mittens or hats or scarves or socks. It's unlimited. And that is how to do nalbinding, and I hope to see you on the next boat and you can show me all of your good projects that you've been working on. That's it.